Hey everyone, Ian here. Welcome back. And to everyone who is new, I'm glad you're here. Today is part 4 of Camera Basics, and we're going to get into it right after this. Alright, today we're talking about frame rate and shutter. I paired these in the same video because they complement each other and you can't really discuss or use one without discussing or using the other, so that's why I paired them both into this video. Frame rate is the frequency at which frames in a video sequence are displayed. Simply put, when you're shooting in 24 frames per second, say, you are shooting 24 still frames that get stitched together to create a moving sequence, a motion picture. This applies to all frame rates. When in FiLMiC Pro, click on the gear icon. Then click on the frame rate icon. It's the second from the left. The first and most common frame rate is 24 frames per second. This is used in nearly every single Hollywood movie made today, and for good reason. It's the closest to how the human eye perceives motion in real life. Thus makes what you're seeing more believable and immersive, which is what you want. However, 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second are sometimes used in movies and on YouTube videos. It's not as common, but it is used. To me, it all comes down to preference. Some people prefer the look of 30 frames per second or 60, and they play back at 30 and 60, so it's capture and playback at the same. Me, I'm not a fan. I don't think it looks real. It looks weird, you know, growing up watching movies in 24 frames per second at 24 playback. It looks odd to me, and I can't get used to it. I personally only use those frame rates for effect, such as slow motion. So say if I want a slow motion effect, I will shoot in 30, 48, 60, any of those frame rates, and I'll set the playback to 24. This slows down the motion recorded. The higher the capture frame rate, the slower the motion will be during playback. When shooting outside, you will need an ND filter to keep that shutter nice and low, and we're going to cover that in a future video very soon. Now that we have frame rate down, let's move on to shutter. Shutter is the device through which the lens aperture of a camera emits light, thus exposing the electronic image sensor. Since you already chose your frame rate, you're going to head back out to the main screen. On the left-hand side of the screen, in the middle, you'll see your ISO number on top, and right below that is going to be your shutter speed. For the most cinematic look, you're going to want to follow the 180-degree rule, which we've already discussed. This is when you double your frame rate, which in this case, the shutter is going to be 1/48, because if you're shooting at 24 times 2, 48, you get it. And this applies to every single frame rate. If you're shooting in 30, the shutter is going to be 1/60th, 60, 1/120th, etc. Doing this will give you the proper motion blur that the human eye sees in real life. Apply this technique to whatever frame rate you choose and you will be good to go. And that's the video, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I know this was a quick one. These are relatively easy topics, but they're very, very important to get the most cinematic looking footage possible. As always, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell to get notified every time a new video comes out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.